the civil engineer who became an IIT professor, the IIT professor who became an AI pioneer, the AI pioneer who became a digital entrepreneur, the entrepreneur who challenged the advertising empire, father to two lovely children, husband to a devoted wife, and he shall have his masterclass right here, right now. Rajeev sir is one of the most knowledgeable and approachable people in the CET Mumbai space and a gem of a guy to know. I'm sure after this program, many of you would like to connect to him personally, and I'm sure he would be delighted to have you and respond to your views. So without further ado, on behalf of CETAA Mumbai, I take great pleasure in welcoming Rajeev sir for the masterclass session 2. The screen is all yours, sir. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost.
Yeah, thank you very much, Papan, for the introduction. And let me straight away get into the presentation. So, good evening, everyone, fellow CETians. I feel privileged to be here today in this masterclass platform, sharing my experiences of last few years. All of us belong to CET. The training we received there has added immense value to our lives, both professional and personal. And thank you, the CETAA Mumbai Masterclass team, for giving me this opportunity. So let me get into the topic now. So in today's session, I will be speaking to you on my startup experiences. And Papan gave a brief intro on my background. So now let me straight away get into. So I believe in follow your passion, live the purpose. I think I have been practicing this for quite many years. So passion is nothing but exploring areas that spark one's interest, developing skills in those areas, using those skills to contribute to something beyond yourself. That's what I understand as passion. And purpose of life, to understand, for me it is very simple. Get up in the morning and just ask a question: am I going to work in, is this day going to be excited for me? If yes, I live the purpose. If no, then there is a question mark. So that's what I will revisit this slide towards the end, and we'll discuss at that time. Yeah, my startup association, I have association so far with 5 startups. The first one started in 1983. I'm not sure we can call it as a startup. This was after my graduation from CET, and immediately after that, my MTech from IIT Madras. 2 years I worked in steel industry at Bokaro and Bhilai, but I didn't like the job that I was doing. I was doing it. Then I got a 6 months temporary job in IIT Madras. I immediately came and grabbed it. So after 6 months, I may have a job, may not have a job. I was not worried. So then I joined, and after 6 months, as expected, I didn't have a job. So I approached the bank, nationalized bank, a Canara Bank, and got 1.5 lakhs loan and a Z80 based 8-bit computer I bought. You know, it was pre-PC era, and people haven't heard of word processing. So I started a word processing center. Later, it became a data processing center also in Chennai. And in 6 months' time of starting this, I got a faculty position at IIT Madras, and I had to run this for 2 more years, primarily to collect money to repay the bank loan. So then I closed it. So the next one is what I am going to talk to you today in more details. It was 2006 to 2018, 12 years long. It's a digital agency. I will come to that. The third one in 2014, along with one of my friend, I was a co-founder of that. It is in auto aftermarket solutions, and the company is doing quite good now. At this point in time, my role is only that of a mentor. Then in 2015-17, we three CETN got together and started on a product of learning solution. For whatever reasons, it did not take off. Then from 2018 onwards, yet another interesting startup I am working, which is Cafe Arpan. This is a cafe. So you would have been worried about, I started with civil engineering, got into advertising industry, and finally running a chai kada or something. So it's a cafe where we employ developmentally and intellectually challenged persons. There is no opportunity for them to get work. So we employ them and they are running it. We are supporting it. That is Cafe. So let me straight away get into today's focus. That is the digital agency that we have built. So the focus will be on how we build the business, challenges we faced, and the learnings and things around these three. So just to set the context, I will brush through my background a little bit. I had an opportunity in 1989 when I was a faculty at IIT Madras to visit Carnegie Mellon University. And there I was for a semester and I was introduced to the exciting world of artificial intelligence. I went there to work on AI only. That was the objective of my visit. I did my PhD in genetic algorithm, which is a topic in artificial life. And this also being considered a part of AI, the big picture AI. And I have co-authored two books. One of them is Artificial Intelligence and Expert Systems for Engineers, which was published in 95 by CRC Press USA, and it was exclusively for the US market. I worked for 13 years in IIT. Then I came out. That's a different story. Why I came out, it is not relevant here in today's discussion, and worked in industry, mostly as chief technology officer, mainly in product development companies, both Silicon Valley and Indian companies. So the fourth company I worked is Zycus Infotech. I've been working there. After a while, I started thinking, I worked in four industry. I don't want to move to another company now. So why not do something? So this why not do something was bugging me. And so why not do mean something startup? So what is that startup? When I think of startup, why people are getting into startup? There could be many reasons. The motivations could be different. So one could be, say, creating value. Yes. Changing the world. They're too big. Yes. Being in control. Yes. That is, if we are working somewhere, we don't have control. But if I have something of my own, I am in control. I think that makes a big difference. Fourth is money. At times, for some of them, money can be the first priority. Money has to be there. Definitely, we are working and we have to live after few years. We have to. And then the fifth one, I would say, is passion. As far as I am concerned, for me, the number one was passion and number two was money. So money means I need money to live for another 25, 30, 40 years, whatever at that time, if I just calculate. So that's all I wanted. But the passion is what was driving me. Passion for what? What were my passions at that point in time? One is build products. I'm not happy with services industry. So I wanted to build software products. I want to bring my understanding of AI to wider use. This is one of personal aspect. Make every employee love working with me. I don't want someone to say that for the sake of working, they are working with me. I didn't want that. And blend creativity and technology was on top of the stack as far as my passions were concerned. So I am a techie or a technologist, that's what I am, but I feel inside I have some creative interest. I have some creative interest, and uh, so I wanted to blend creativity and technology, which was not much known at that point in time. People were talking still UI, and people were not talking UX, that is user interface. People were talking user experience. People were not talking much in those days. Yeah. So what happens when creativity and what happens when creativity and technology get uh, blended? That is where the magic happens. And if you add innovation also on top of it, then the magic becomes super magic. So that is what the space I wanted to be in. That was my first preference, priority, and then the AI. So what happened was that during one of the informal chats with two of my colleagues, uh, one of them is VP marketing. Second one was head of delivery. I'm head of technology, that is CTO. So one of the informal chats, they asked me whether am I interested. They are planning to do something. Am I interested to join? They plan to get into some product development, and they feel that AI is going to be an important part of that product. So they feel me joining would be great. So I was also thinking of that, thinking of doing something, and then two of my colleagues whom I know for 2 years came. So I thought, great. uh, so what are the strengths of these people? So the marketing person's interest was in consumer experience and creative. The delivery head's interest was in e-commerce and content, and my interests were in AI and creative. You see, there is a common thread running across these three, the topic of interest of each one of us. So we sat together and started discussing and decided that yes, we are going ahead. So we first agreed on a set of values. So which is very important. We felt instead of writing mission, vision, we said that values is important and we have to stick to the values. If we have to, and we have to run a company, then we have to stick to these values. We agreed on a set of values, and that is how the company Experience Commerce was born. Experience Commerce, if you see our interests, so marketing person's interest is consumer experience, and the delivery person's interest is commerce. And to realize it, you need creativity, and to power it, you need artificial intelligence. That is how all our interests came together, and the company was born. That is Experience Commerce in 2006. So then we sat down, whatever we have been discussing. We first 2 years was struggle, just like any other. So first, what we wanted it to be on handheld devices. There were no smartphones during those days. So what was available was personal digital assistants, PDAs, but the penetration was quite poor. We built an e-commerce prototype on this PDA, took it to US, possible markets, got it tested. The market testing we did, we felt that the product idea is good, product looks great, experience of using this product would be great, but it was too early for the market. We quickly got together on the drawing board. Then we thought, let us build a creative social collaboration platform. It was very early days of Facebook and so on. It is something like create postcard creatively, make a postcard through the tool, and then you can send it to people. People can comment in a creative way, others can comment on it, and we can create a thread of conversation through only creativity with very little text. So this helped us to sharpen our skills on blending creativity and technology. I think this was a very important step in our growth. So understanding the and getting to the skills of creativity and technology blending. That was the time when Orkut and Facebook were just coming up. And when the Orkut was coming up, large number of people on Orkut. We built many apps for Orkut, for our own apps, as well as our apps for clients like Cadbury, Amity, Kodak, and so on. And this activity helped us understand nuances of social apps and the ecosystem around it, which was very important. So the previous exercise helped us to sharpen our skills on blending creativity and technology, whereas this exercise helped us understand the nuances of social apps and dynamics. So we did, and we didn't know how are we going to proceed. We kept doing it. So then what happens is we are doing this work, whatever revenue we get at that time we were getting through this app development was not sufficient. So we founders did consulting work to bring revenue. So finally, whatever way we had to bring revenue, so we were very clear right from beginning that our balance sheet has to be positive. So that business, we should not lose our eye from a business aspect. So we did that, and we heard a knock on the door at that time. It was from an ad agency. Knock on the door means it was a phone call. It was from an ad agency. It seems one of their clients wanted to, it is an automobile client, Mitsubishi, are going to launch a new car that is CETAA Sports. And they want to launch the car and do a fairly big campaign, both online as well as offline campaign they want to do. That ad agency who approached us have absolutely no expertise in online, and they have seen our work. One is those postcards and the Orkut Facebook applications, everything they have seen. So they had a confidence in us, saying that yes, these people might be able to pull it off. So they asked us, we went with them to meet the client, and we got the brief and came back. And it was the launch. We have to run a contest, online contest for couples. So couple will be applying, and the online contest has to be done in a very creative manner. And we were given a target that our online contest should be that attractive that at least 500 couples should be applying for that. And then from there, shortlisting will start based on many parameters. That is again online, with 100 shortlisted, 50 shortlisted, 25 shortlisted, and final 10 will come for an audition for driving. And these 3 finalists will get a new CETAA car, and they have to drive 300 kilometers every day. 10 days they have to drive in their chosen locations, and 10th day they have to come back to Mumbai, and every day they have to write stories, pictures, videos, and they have to make their travel experience on CETAA car the best one. That was the this one. So that campaign was called the Great Driving Challenge, and Times of India called it as a web-based and physical reality event. So you see, these are the stats. 20,000 couples registered, whereas our target was 500. Over 7 million page views in less than 2 months. So the kind of numbers that we got were phenomenal. So they broke all records. So it just happened 1.5 months of this, 1.5 to 2 months. We about 10 to 12 people in our company were office we were staying in, maybe once or twice a week we came home. That's all, because that is a kind of pressure we had, and we have been building it and getting it, but it gave result. So it became one of the best campaign that online. So we were known among many people, because 20,000 couple registered itself is, and their friends, families, they have to collect votes, likes, and so on. So what happened? It spread like a viral. And finally, at the end of it, people started identifying us as a digital agency, because these kind of campaigns are done by a digital agency. Yes, we got yet another knock on our door. This time it is from an IPL team. This IPL team called us and said that we have seen your work on Great Driving Challenge, and we have some work, and we invite you to do pitching. We are inviting many other ad agencies, but we are also giving you a chance to come and pitch. So pitch for all their digital activation activities. What are those? Their website, their creating and doing their fan club, motivating, and then running campaigns, then social media, blogs, practice coverage, in stadium experience, live coverage. So it's a huge amount of activities that we have to go and pitch. We were given 1 week and we had no clue on what is to be done. But we got together. Only thing what we had was confidence. We didn't have enough people, so we ran around and found the right kind of skills. And we went for pitching. And when we were there waiting outside, we could see the other ad agencies also there. They're all the biggies, the Ogilvies, JWTs, and these big names, these multinational companies, they're all there. And we are a minnows in a corner and no one knows us. And we also don't know anybody. But we were called, and finally we presented, and about 2 days time after presentation, we got phone call saying that you won the pitch. And they said that the kind of creativity and innovation that you have proposed in what you are going to do and what we have seen in the Great Driving Challenge, I think that is what, and what you have presented, the innovation and creativity is what made the difference. The team was Royal Challengers Bangalore. So it was IPL second season, season two, and the season one, their digital assets were, or the website, etc., were done by Microsoft. So we took over all digital assets from Microsoft. Then it was ours, and we had a long 10-year journey with RCB. Many campaigns every year, innovative. We have done Internet of Things. We have done RFID integrations for in stadium experience for the Chinnaswamy Stadium, Bangalore. We could give enhanced brand equity to the client. I think client. So that made a lot of difference. And also we got opportunity to work closely with the names you can see here, Rahul Dravid, Kumble, Kohli, etc. So especially for me, I am a cricket lover, and somehow the person whom I like most in cricket is Rahul Dravid, and those initial days and the nuances of forming a fan club and how they have to be run and all those things, he was giving immense lot of inputs, and I got opportunity to work closely with him. He was the captain of RCB then. So what made the difference is the innovation and the creativity that we have been doing. And it has been done by three techies. We three of them are techies. One of them was a marketing VP previously. He understood marketing, whereas we two were just, nothing. Then we got yet another brand. This is through another agency, not directly. So that is Castrol Cricket. This Castrol Cricket we ran it for 7 years, and it came through an agency. And after 6 months of seeing our work, what Castrol did was they bypassed the other agency and gave us the work directly, because the online, the kind of strength we had, and the kind of expertise that we had created by the time. So, and it was a very popular, it became a very popular site. So we have developed we have developed an algorithm for computing index of players and teams in real time. That means when a ball is bowled in a match, how it was batted, how it was fielded, and who did that, and if there are slippages, if there is something exceptional work done, all these inputs we use to get live feeds, and then on the fly we calculate index, and before the next ball is bowled, index is calculated and it updates on the screen. So what happens is, anytime you can see how the match is going. It's not the runs or anything. It is an overall how the people. And this algorithm was presented to ICC to replace, with an intention to replace Duckworth-Lewis method, because it gives much more objective and logical, uh, you know, way of understanding where the match is at any given point in time. That's all. Nothing happened. So I also got an opportunity because of this association to touch the ICC trophy of 2011, I think, which was ultimately lifted by MS Dhoni. Yeah. The next, in 2010, we got our first award. 2009, we did the first campaign. And for that campaign, the Great Driving Challenge, in 2001 February, we didn't even know that there is something like Goa Fest exists. Goa Fest is the carnival of the advertising people in India, in Goa, for 3 days and 3 nights. It is a big, big show. And we had no idea something like that exists and there are awards. So the client called us, Mitsubishi called us and said, please apply for here and you people go. There is a good chance because the campaign we have done is quite good. So we went there, we got an award. This is our first award. So these are all started giving us more and more confidence. Yes, we are doing good, we are doing good. So we don't have to fear whether, I don't think we should, in this particular field there are very big you know big competitors, big companies are there. So I believe as far as you do a good work, I think you can move forward. I think that's what we learned. Then what we again took a step back and started seeing how is going to be this particular field. For example, internet users are growing. This is the projection, I think, from Forrester or something, the digital outlook. So the internet users are going to grow. You can see how, and the exponential growth of digital ad spend. That is what has, and if even if we get a very small pie of that, that itself will be great for us. So that we have made a resolve to stay in this space and push for growth. So we wanted to be, so that means we wanted to be a digital agency. But what are the challenges? During IPL, we have Royal Challengers Bangalore and Castrol Cricket, lots and lots of work. So we can't keep recruiting people. So we got interns. Mainly we got interns from Saviors and other colleges who were doing mass communication. So we got them, and we also got from the design schools. We went and recruited trainees. So a lot of creative work needs to be done, and the usual admin team we set up. So far, we were all, only the founders were handling all the sundry jobs. I'm not saying sundry because they were not the main focus jobs. So, but another big challenge was we had three teams: tech team, content team, and creative team. Integrating them is a real challenge because the way tech team thinks and talk is different. The creative team thinks and communicates in different way. The same is with content team. Again, to give you an example, the tech team is creating a screen in the sense of HTML and all those JavaScript programming they are doing. So they're creating screen. They go to a creative guy and asking, give me text to be put on the screen. The creative guy just blinks. He has no idea what a text means. So then we understood that it is not text, it is copy. We say that give me copy for the screen. The creative guy understand he doesn't need anything, and copy doesn't gel well with a tech guy. So this is only one example. Like that, there are many, many examples of, the thinking is different, vocabulary is different, communication is different. So integration of this team was the biggest challenge, I can say. So what we did was, previously we had three teams sitting in three different places. We just dispersed it, and we had one tech guy, content guy sitting side by side, then creative guy sitting side by side. It was completely random. They were sitting so that they start understanding how the other persons think and how the other person communicates, so that the gap started getting reduced and we could create an integrated team. So we started telling, just think in a completely different way. We started calling our software developers who were there as digital technologists. You are digital technologist, creative technologist. So this calling them itself started making differences in their mind. So the kind of work, so even if you make a couple of mistakes in your coding, which is okay, but we can't afford to have a pixel here and there. So that has to be as perfect as possible. So because our work is of that nature. So just one point at this time, because at that time the ad agencies started seeing big opportunities in digital. So what happened was that they to get into digital as a shortcut, they started acquiring this, these website development companies, mobile app development companies, etc. So so they can integrate. But and similarly, the tech giants, they felt they started acquiring these small creative companies. So here what is saying that the tech team and creative team integration, it was such a big challenge. How this is going to work? A creative team isolation sits, they give input to a team sitting in Hyderabad or Bangalore, the tech team, and they absolutely it is not going to work. And I know many stories of failures. Big setback. After about 4.5 years, one co-founder left, and we could have made better. If we had made a shareholders agreement, we could have written there, if exit happens, what are terms and condition. Nothing was there. As a result, there was a trust with which we start. This happens with most of the startups I know. 3-4 people join together. We said we have trust, we are going to work together, because people think differently. People are different, their cultural backgrounds are different, and the way they work are different. There are bound to be differences, so that will come out as we go. So we have to be careful in those things. So we suffered considerable financial loss, to the extent that we too, the other two founders' houses went mortgage to resolve this issue. So then the new EC with two of us is the Experience Commerce Digital Agency. So what we were doing is brand communication, and the brand communication includes creating digital assets and managing it, and then the campaigns, and also marketing. Media was less at that time. So what is a digital agency? Because I've been talking about that. So digital agencies, all work we do using digital technologies. We do content marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, campaign marketing, brand communication. So there are digital agencies which does only one or two of these different activities, but we were doing everything in an integrated manner. So we started calling ourselves as 360 degrees full service digital agency. That is what we were in. Still, what was happening is, yes, we got into, I wanted to build products, but now I landed up in a service industry. But the creativity and technology blending, excellent work we were doing. But again, my AI was not going anywhere. My passion for AI was not going anywhere. Yeah. Then what happened was that to attract more clients, we have to get into brand immersion. That is, we have a brand and we have a consumer and the customer's lifestyle. We need to understand customer with respect to the brand. For a particular brand, in that context, what is a customer's lifestyle and how we can integrate the brand into customer's lifestyle. So what aspects of brand, if we run a digital campaign or we create a digital assets, what is going to be the customers sentiments on the brand and customers perception. So these things we have to dive deep and work on it. Then only we can survive in this field, leave alone progress, survive in this field. That's what we have understood. So we took 3 major steps through to handle this. Number one, we created a research team. We recruited 2 smart MBAs from a reputed institute, plus we had a 12th class drop who was the best performer as far as social media and content at that time in our company, an excellent researcher. We got in and we formed a team. So they started working on research, understanding brands and so on. But the way they were working was, very manual, using Googles and various, reports and so many things. I felt. So I got into another. I and an R&D team started creating number of tools. I'm just showing you one tool here. The tool that we have built, what is called Brand Buzz Index. This is a product. So what happens is, let us say I want to understand the aspects of brands and the consumer sentiments, perspective, etc. What our crawlers go over all social media, blogs, and all publicly available uh, assets in digital universe and collect all mentions about that brand, and we collect it and we process it using the engines that we have wrote, and those engines are written using AI and big data technologies. And from there we start make meaningful uh, details such as popularity, virality, conversation, and engagement. As far as that particular is concerned, we were doing it on a week on week basis. So in 1 week, what are the scores on popularity, virality, conversation, and engagement, and then we aggregate into a score. For example, Royal Challengers Bangalore this week has a score of, let us say the score is in 1000, they have 755, and next week it became 520. So we know that there is something happened, some negativity happened, that's why the score went down. And next 550 to it jumped to 900. This means some major campaign would have done, which would have created a very good positive impression, a positive perception about that. So we could dig deep into what happened, when it happened, how it happened. All these, this tool dives and gives us insight, I think, which had very high value for, especially for brands. So we started using this for our pitching. So with using this insight, we go to pitches and we present to clients, and quite a few times it so happened that the clients were surprised, saying that, oh, we didn't know that this happened. So we could take out details and show you, look, this is how this is why it happened. So that was an eye opener for. So this made a big difference. The second step, the first research team, and the second, the research team gets output from here, and they again churn it out and then make it to meaningful thing for the clients. That's what they were doing. It made a big difference for us. And third, what we did was we came up with a platform or a framework. So this is not a tech platform or framework, this is a kind of methodology or process that we have defined within our company. So how do we get into, primarily for the brand immersion. So we digital signals, we get the behavioral insight, we get the consumer profiles, and then from there we churn out intelligently through using some of our internal tools, and then decide on what content platform we need, and what goes into content, what goes into community platform, what goes into commerce stack, and what the media issues. So everything we'll be able to. So we came up with this. So what the ultimate result was, the thinking within the company changed considerably. Initially, when we started, we were, tech, one screen, HTML, PHP, and database, MySQL, Apache server, and a lot of those things we were discussing. And so now we changed to design thinking, agile computing. This agile computing is very interesting in this particular field. So what happens is, generally, I can give an example. So that night 8 o'clock, we get approved creatives and content from the client for a campaign, and the next day 10 o'clock the campaign has to go live. Can think that kind of agility with which we need to work. We have 10 hours that the teams have to work together, and it has to go by 10 o'clock, means it has to go by 10 o'clock. There is no question of 10 to 5, and those are absolutely ruled out. But we were a people focused company, so we took care of people. We didn't stress them so much. But the agile computing and the way that we did a lot of externalization, a lot of frameworks we built, all those things helped us. Then programmable media, then data sciences, then material design. So these are the kind of, this got into our DNA. This actually lifted us in much higher in the value chain than where we were. I think then our vocabulary changed, the way we talk to the client changed. So these all were lifting us. So what big difference this made is, we got immediately 3 new clients. United Spirits, Britannia, and MTR Foods. What else we need? So this hard work that we have put, the right platforms, right frameworks, right tools we built, right research team that we have done, that's what we got. All these three aha moment for me, because I wanted to build products. Yeah, build their internal products, yes. I want to put AI to more meaningful use. Yes, AI is more AI. Actually the AI is what start the churning, reasoning, and all those things. Using AI technology is what I think helped us to get to this level. So it's an aha moment for me. Absolutely enjoying the work. No civil engineering, no structural engineering, but absolutely enjoyed the work. All these three clients are from Bangalore, so we started a Bangalore office. Then an interesting thing is, so always greed is there in our mind. No, we got these big customers, and the greed is that we want to get bigger customers. So how can I get bigger customers? We wanted Pepsi. So that is what that particular year, I think 2014, I think the or 13 or 14, Pepsi was the title sponsor for IPL. So what we did was, we prepared a report on Pepsi's. The two questions that we answered in this report were: did the IPL 6 title sponsorship pay off for Pepsi? And what was the impact on brand buzz? What was the impact on Pepsi's brand buzz because of their title sponsorship of the IPL? So what happened was, in a we send that report to Pepsi, and in a week's time we had some conversations, and Pepsi was in our client list. So it's a way of, so far we didn't have any business development team with us. We were getting business only from reference. We did a good job, people saw the job, and then clients came to us. So it was not easy for us to approach Pepsi, so we did another trick. Through that, I think we got Pepsi as, but we didn't continue it because they wanted our presence in Gurgaon, which was not possible at that time. So this happened. And then the big one, the MRF found us on web. So MRF came and they found us on web, and they studied about us, and this SEO did the thing. SEO means search engine optimization, which we have been doing. So at that time, anybody search, go to Google and search digital agency India, and we were experience commerce was coming on top. So we have been continuously working to achieve that. That is what is search engine optimization is. And as a result of that, the our visibility was high, and MRF became our client. So, MRF, even now the journey continues. For MRF, came to us saying that we have been doing good in our marketing as far as non-digital is concerned, but as far as digital, we want to, uh, as digital, they want our help. So they want us to handhold them in digital. They want us to handhold them in digital. That's what they wanted. So we were thinking how to do it, how to do a beginning. So what we did was, what we have seen that last 30 plus years, MRF was coming up with a one-page advertisement. In that they used to write, yes, we are predicting rain for Mumbai, and the rain is expected sometime in June 15th, and before that please get your car checked, tires checked, etc., etc. That is what was advertisement. So but what we thought was, let us uh, make this particular rain day, MRF rain day advertisement to a digital campaign. That's what, and we came up with an idea, we discussed with the client, they loved it. So I have been using the term campaign here. So let me show you a small video of this campaign. So in Mumbai, what happens is, by April, May, people keeps chatting wherever they are, when the rain is going to come this time. Is it June beginning, first week, second week? In Kerala, if it comes on 1st June, so it can come here sometime in 12th, 13th June. These are discussions on train, buses, during informal chais and all that. So we just clinged on that and we thought we will create a campaign. Let us see this video.
Rains. They bring with it so much joy, and in Mumbai, we wait for it desperately. But it also brings with it slippery roads, flooded lanes, and the cars of your tires have to be ready. For over 3 decades, MRF has been predicting the onset of monsoon so that Mumbaikars prepare themselves for the rain. This year, MRF Rain Day went digital and not only gave the prediction of the rain day, but also brought them the epic journey of the southwest monsoon, from the mystic fields of Kerala to the bustling lanes of Mumbai. A team of MRF wanderers set off to Kerala on June 1st to give people the day-by-day progress of the southwest monsoon. As they traveled from Kerala to Mumbai, they brought the live coverage of the rain and also interesting stories about the rain from different places. People could simply log on to mrfrainday.com and witness the epic journey in a visually spectacular display of photos, GIFs, and videos. Intuitive navigation meant the users could easily scroll through the entire journey. The homepage was dynamic and it became darker as the monsoon came closer to Mumbai. And on MRF Rain Day, the team arrived, bringing with it the first drops of rain in Mumbai. The homepage reflected the condition on the streets as drops of rain trickled down the screen. Pictures from across Mumbai started pouring in on the social channels and were displayed on the microsite. So this year, people didn't simply get prepared for the rains, but also celebrated the onset of the monsoon with MRF.
Yeah, this is an example of a campaign that we did, and this is how we did a hand holding
Rains.
of. So then our work brought us. We got more clients: Diageo, Lenovo, Force India, the Formula One team, Ambuja Cements, Castrol, Lafarge Holcim, Wipro, Fortune, that is the Adani's Fortune Basmati rice. In Wipro, we got the Chandrika and Santur soaps and Wipro lighting. So these were the clients. So we were doing all this, the brand communication work, and we got the gold award for one of the campaigns that we did for Lenovo. So Prasun Joshi, from him, our team is getting the award, the gold award in the Goa Festabi. Then we got many awards. So you can see some of the awards that we have received. We were getting award almost every year after the first one. So, but the three clients, Ambuja Cement, Castrol and Lafarge Holcim, was for a completely different kind of business. They were not for media or marketing, and they were not for brand and brand communication. They were completely different space, that is digital transformation space. And this space is what I think exciting space, and this is going to be very big in next few years. Digital transformation is going to be very, very big, because the kind of technologies available, the kind of tools available today that can realize many things which were not possible during last years. So digital transformation is the use of new, fast and frequently changing digital technology to solve business problems. It is about transforming processes that were non-digital or manual to digital processes. And you see, about 30, 35 years back, SAP came, or many others, not only SAP, many others came with ERP, enterprise resource planning. At that time, it was automation of processes in enterprises. So here it is not automation of processes. Here it is, for example, a person connected with any enterprise, and he has, or even a consumer with has mobile phones, which is very powerful, or tablets. I think through that the enterprise can connect and add tremendous value to the customer, the retailers, the dealers, and their staff. So that is what this is all about. So I this was my dream of, the kind of where AI is going to play a major role. So these days, I know AI people talk about AI means learning, learning means deep learning is part of AI. So these are the three buzzwords which are AI, learning, deep learning, etc. But AI is much, much, much more than that. This learning is only one aspect. In AI, reasoning is very, very powerful, very important, and we have used extensively different reasoning techniques in so we came up with a platform, we call it as a Samiksha. Samiksha stands for brain wave. In Sanskrit, Samiksha means brain wave. So a brain wave platform. I will just give you, this is the conceptual idea. This partially it has been implemented and we have used in our digital transformation project. What is this? It mimics the brain. That's what it does. So in brain, we have got temporary memory and permanent memory. For example, database, knowledge base, content base, and frame base are temporary. This frame base, many of you might not have heard the techies, but all other things you might have heard. This frame is a concept where we can represent stereotypical situation, and this was introduced by pioneering early researcher, AI researcher called Marvin Minsky. It is his concept which he has introduced in 1975. I've studied it, I have learned it, and I found it to be very powerful, but I have not seen that in any of the commercially available platforms and tools. So I wanted that. Then context is the temporary memory. And we have a reasoning engine there. We have many, many different reasoning mechanisms built in, like common sense reasoning, non-monotonic reasoning, monotonic reasoning, and many such heuristics based reasoning and so on. And then we have learning engine where we have different learning techniques, artificial neural networks, Bayesian networks, and so on. Learning. Then we have a set of algorithms library, especially AI algorithms such as synthesis algorithms, critiquing algorithms. Then we have genetic algorithms, which can be used in generally the traveling salesman problem kind of. Whereas here, it is extensively used in this kind of digital transformation applications where the sales people move along and we have to give an optimum path for them. We can generate very optimum paths, etc. We can use it. And mainly brain, what it does is it gets external signals. For example, through the sensors, it gets signals. Then there is a sensory integration engine within that, and that sensory integration engine, it integrates, it works, and then it sends the output. So the same thing is mimicked here. So we have a sensory integration engine from the external signals, and then what happens is the finally the content is delivered. So we have a content delivery channels, which is a framework by itself. The content is delivered, you can see here, based on the processing, which comes to apps, dashboards, etc., and finally an external system which gets integrated. So this is a working concept and a very powerful platform architecture is we have presented, which is I've been thinking about this long, and I got an opportunity to really implement it and use it in a project for clients, not one more. So I'll just tell you, so what this gave is, it gave visibility into demand signals, which is very important for any enterprise, and then design interventions in problem areas in almost near real time. That is what is needed, and it helped. So let us see one sentence. 5,20,000 plus metric tons of cement sale was influenced through this platform. And this penetration of this platform in that enterprise itself is not much. So you can imagine if this digital transformation spread across India, pan India for this client, how much it is going to help. Yeah, now we had different revenue streams. We had monthly retainership, we have brand campaigns, and we have different, and we were balancing on this. I'm not getting into details because these are all the sides. So finally, EC we evolved into, we have three business lines. One is brand communication, which included digital assets and campaigns. We had media and marketing, a lot of marketing different kinds of marketing and the media spends, and then digital business. That is what this digital transformation. So we more or less matured into a space so that the company has reached a good level and got big names in Indian enterprise as their clients, I think, which was a very satisfying journey. So in 2006 we called that we are born on web. Every ad agency was not born on web. They were there, they had all the other channels, but they also had digital on web, but we are born on web. Then we established as a digital agency, then we matured as a digital agency, then we started getting digital business, and our growth was more in digital business. With that means, which is a sweet spot that we are in. We were able to get the company in about 10 to 12 about 10 to 12 years to this level, which was immensely satisfying journey for us. Then of course challenges, HR challenges. We had an very senior HR manager, and then we had finance challenges, paying salaries on time, paying taxes on time, collections from clients. That was also difficult. You know, the most difficult thing I believe is collection from time. In some of the Indian clients, we have a contract for 45 days credit period, and if they pay after 90 days, 100 days, they feel that they have given us a you know, they're doing us a favor. But the problem is, as a result of this, we get into severe cash crunch. We become unable to pay taxes on time. Because of that, we pay interest for taxes. We take loans from bank. We pay interest on bank. So even if our EBITDA is positive at times, so last 2 years, even if our EBITDA was positive, our profit after tax went negative, purely because of this attitude of some of the clients. But we can't help it. We don't have the kind of muscle power to pull money from them on time. Yeah. And now I'm getting into people. The last part is we are people-centric company. Our all people-centric. So we want to ensure that I'll just talk a little bit about this. We created the state-of-the-art office space. Even though it took a big hit on our bottom line, but still we felt we have to have a good office, excellent office with a recreation room, with a yoga room, that is the quiet room, and we had an excellent cafeteria, mainly because we want people to enjoy their working. Profit is secondary. Yes, we have to have profitable as far as business is concerned, but if people are not happy, business is not going to come. That was our motto. And we want fun at work. We'll see here a small video clip. Our office, for example, the kind of fun we have in our office in the afternoon, sometimes, you know, a bit after lunch, and suddenly a music will start from one corner and people start dancing. About 5 minutes, 8 minutes of this, you know, the whole the space is filled with energy and vibrancy, and the people go back to their work. Just have a look at this. And at times, once a year, we also have our cafeteria becomes a dance floor. And people, and our motto was work hard and party hard. That was our, so we can see what is happening. So our HR practices, best practices, I will just tell one thing. So I actually started learning management from the videos of Professor Peter Drucker. So his MBOs, management by objective, was we were following with weekly one-on-one meetings, etc., etc., and everything. And we had monthly town hall meeting where successes and failures were discussed in a very transparent way. If we lose a business, we tell people in that monthly meeting that yes, we lost. So let everyone know. So we didn't hide anything. And mentoring, that was another. Last few years I was focusing on mentoring. So one of the thing, one of my in the passions I have showed you, that I want people who are working with us to be happy to work with us. So every 6 months I was conducting workshops on self introspection. So what is self introspection? To finally find out what are their passions and what is their purpose of life, and see whether it matches. So I used to tell the team members, you get up in the morning, you don't feel like coming to office, and you somehow not interested in doing this work, please go away. No problem, no problems. You have to have passion to work here. Otherwise, no, we don't see any this one. For example, we don't look at experience, we don't look at their educational qualifications. So we were looking at the talent and how they are performing. That's it. And we also have key performance indicators for managers and team leads as replacing self, which is important. You have to develop your team members, and a team lead has to, if he has to move up, he has to prepare someone for his position or her position. This was very important. I was doing it so because I could easily get out of the company without impacting the company. I could do it. And finally, we used to hear what team says in monthly meeting. Every time one team comes and talk about how we can work better. So how people are looking at it. So this mentoring work was very focused work. That's what I'm emphasizing here, that work. And equal performance, equal pay, that was our motto. That's what we don't look at educational qualification, we don't look at experience. If a less experienced person and a less qualified person is performing higher, he gets a higher pay. It is purely performance based. Then everyone cannot be performers in a company. There are So we went in for a pillars and fillers model. Pillars, yes, we took care of pillars, they're the best, and fillers come and go. That is the model that we worked, and it worked very well. Finally, the cash flow problem, just like any company, I already told you, clients don't pay, so bank ODs and unsecured. And we got 3 times PE, private equity companies approached us for financing, and somehow the moment see their terms and term sheet, somehow I get a bit worried, and then I felt it is better not to do business with that. That is my opinion, or our two founders' opinion. So we felt we will get from bank ODs and then manage it. That's what we did in 12 years. I exited in 2018 when the company got acquired. So we did 3 due diligence, and the third one really worked. And one thing we made it very clear: we had to ensure that our employees and the culture that we have created has to continue at least for some time. And second is, our clients, they had faith in us and they gave work to us, and that has to work well. So the client should not have immediate impact. And finally, the founders, yes, we want to get money for living rest of our life. That is all was our objective. So I exited. So I know, because I had prepared my next level team so that they took care of, so that but they used to call me once in a while for helps, advices, and so on. That still continues. So I'm visiting the same thing, follow your passion. So what happened? So after 10 years itself, I started associating with an NGO which works in disability space, developmental and intellectual disability. In that trust, I became a trustee. I started working more with this people with autism, Down syndrome, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, etc. And I am a music buff. I love classical music and I also play quite a few instruments. So I devised methodologies to, to give music therapy, and that became my passion. And that's, I started not only music, working with those people and lifting their morale and making them happy became my passion in my life, and that became the purpose. So again, after 12 years of review, what happened? So I was quite happy coming out. And final question is, was that company is successful? Am I successful in this startup? Yes, successful. My definition of success is, I was happy when I was working here, working in the company, or I was running the company. And when I came out, I am happy what I am doing it. So I consider it as success. That is what my definition of success is. Money and everything is secondary. Yeah, I will conclude this talk with just few seconds video. किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है.
Hello, thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. While we were just grouping the questions, there are quite a few, 21 questions are there. I will launch the poll so that, they can give us the feedback. Please, participants, can you all give us the feedback on the polling, this one, which would have appeared now on your screens? Sir, while this is going on, Mr. Padmanabh Iyer from 1962, he is wanting to talk to you for quite some time. He has raised his hand and kept it. He's such senior most person, I think, in the group. So I'm going to allow him to talk now.
Sure. Yeah, it is a privilege.
Sir Padmanabh Iyer, sir, can you please unmute? I think he is probably not near this one. Okay. Then maybe we will start the questions so that we will have people to get answer. Okay. One of the first question coming, Srijit Ramesh. I think I have seen few of his questions. Can I ask him to?
Let him ask. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Srijit Ramesh, can you please unmute and talk?
First of all, good evening, sir. That was a wonderful talk. Thank you so much for your time and your effort in such a great discussion. That was very enlightening.
Thanks.
And that was basically a guiding light for most of us over here. Thank you once again. I have a couple of questions, mostly on technology front. Since you have such an extensive experience in technology, how do you keep yourself updated? Schedule. What do you read? Do you keep? What exactly do you follow? What are your guidelines on those? That is question number one.
So you will ask all questions and then I will answer, or one by one? Are they related questions?
No, not exactly. My second question is like, they are connected. They're connected. This is basically about AI, that artificial intelligence. So you're so passionate about. Do you see any breakthroughs in any areas of AI which would change the digital experience in a considerable way or dramatically? Those are my two questions. First question, how do you keep yourself updated in technology?
Yeah,
Second is,
how do I keep myself updated is I'm just telling you, last 2 years, no, before that, I had a kind of, just like, we read newspapers in the morning. I had my bookmarks on few blogs and, and blogs and that kind of assets from where I used to read, and I subscribe those their Twitter handle. So anything they post, I get to know the link, and then I go and read. It was mostly online information. So I also used to, friends in, MIT and Stanford and all these institute. There are some of my classmates are professors there. And used to talk to them and get to know, and then reading. So I was I was focusing more on the technology development, and I was less focusing on tools. So it's very important, because what happens I see these days is people focus on tools and not. What I mean is, technology means an inference process, a learning process, how the new learning mechanism. Those are technologies, but you use R language or whatever language, or a new tool came in the market. I was not that keen on that, but I was focusing on that. So I had my bookmarks and I go through that. Now, the second question, the AI breakthrough. What I'm saying is, AI is there for last 70 years. So the first, if I'm right, the first AI conference was sometime in 1956, 56, that time frame, 54, 56 was the first. So AI is there. Lot of developments have happened, but the issue was there was no enough computing resources were not there. Now we have the right computing resources, fast computing resources, so we are able to, use them. But there are a lot of things can be used. For example, even in simple, we do the simple regular programming itself that we are doing for the normal transactions. Even there, using some of the AI techniques, we can externalize the logic completely. Instead of writing code in whatever Java or PHP or whatever you write code, you can externalize even logic now. That is possible. So I think once people get into it, your code quality improves, your product quality improves. That is possible. So I would say the breakthrough has to happen in those areas, and the unused aspects of AI are there many that has to come up now. It is not just learning. Yes.
Thank you so much. And
Okay, Anish, you are the next one to go on this one. I can't find Anish now in the list. Probably he has left. His question is that what would you advise budding entrepreneurs who get bogged down by fear of failure even before they take the first step? Who has the fear of the unknown and hence hesitant actioning on their ideas? This is an advice which he's seeking. On that, connected to that, Ajit Kumar L, who was Federal Bank, I'm having here. I will put him on so that he can talk.
Yeah, Ajit Kumar. Yeah, sure.
Hello, Rajeev.
Hi, Ajit.
Yeah. It's for the first time I am seeing you at a professional level. Say, and for others
I know.
Yeah, for others' information, we we chatted a lot at a personal level and at a community level. So I know him more as a friend rather than as a professor. See, today it was quite great listening to you as a professor, actually. I will not even say professor, but a practicing professor. Okay, you have conceptualized the thing and try to put it into practice, and have actually explained to us in a very elegant way how, say, it was all done. Okay, and quite happy to see you see that way. Okay, now
thank you.
Yeah, coming to my question. See, as you know, in fact, Rajeev introduced me to the CETAA Mumbai group, and thank you for that also. The thing is, see, when I was working in a federal bank in Mumbai, I was also involved in trying to finance the startups. So internally, say again, I should say internally we use a adage called digital at the core, digital at the fore, and human at the core. In fact, just listening to Rajeev, I was just feeling, see, it just was the same concept he was trying to drive home. Oh, okay, it rhymes quite well with our thinking itself. So as a bank, even we are very keen to invest in startups. But the challenge what we face is that probably you have started maybe much later with a lot of experience, etc. But quite a few youngsters come to us. But while at the management level, we know that, okay, we can invest in quite a few startups. The basic challenge is that how do you know? The failure rate of startups is very high. So how do you know? So are there any suggestions from your experience as to how these startups and maybe the investors, maybe even banks have a different type of an approach trying to invest in startup, unlike in the case of a general loan, etc. But still we face a big challenge. While we are ready to invest, but we are not able to evaluate at the initial stage itself. So are there, from your maybe experience, can you share something on that?
Yeah, I think it is, there is no magic wand for, evaluating. So in fact, a few years back, I was associated with an incubation facility where we were incubating startups. At that time, my focus was more on technical incubation and not the financial and other aspect. But what happens is the idea with which that people come and finally how that get connected to customers is critical. So mainly this techies, I'm just giving you, come up with this new startups and then their passion for technology is what. So one thing what I used to advise is, okay, before going into the real product development and all those things, go into a simple prototype mode. Don't even do coding and all, simple prototype mode. Take it to your customers, possible customers, and then understand how the customer connect comes. And I believe that is one way of connecting and getting the customer connect with the idea. That if we can assess, I think that is the best, so that there is a chance of winning is high. That's what I believe. Otherwise, generally what happens, get some money, you get into develop at least to some level, then take it. Even before that, we can have the mock screens and then go to customers, go sit with them, see how they are using it, what are the issues and how they are. So we need to have that phase. I'm not sure is happening these days. If, for example, if you can look at that aspect and how that is done and what is the even the financial like bank and all can get involved in that stage for assessment, and then it becomes easier for you to decide on whether finally most of this startup failure happens because there is the customer connect or consumer connect is not happening. That is where it is failing, not because of technology failure or not because of finance lack. Or that is what I believe, which I have seen.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that's a very good insight. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ajit.
Yeah, I will put Mr. Ramesh Runi, whose question is the next top ranking one. Mr. Ramesh Runi, can you please talk now?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, good evening, sir, and it was an excellent talk. I'm sure that it is going to inspire a lot of youngsters who will be interested in taking up this startups. But at the same time, I have a question about the sustainability of the startup. See, especially with changing policies of the government.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the present government has a totally different approach to the company or corporate world. It seems at least policies and on paper. But then there are feedback I have heard from some of my colleagues or friends who are into the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What they say is that there is a sea of difference in the what do you call that ease of doing business in the country.
Yeah.
So, with your more than a decade of experience in this area, can you just throw some light on this aspect? How
I
this
can.
change in policy has affected corporate sector as a whole and startups especially in particular.
Yeah. So, see, when we started, things were not that, not much of improvement was there. It was somewhere in 2006 and all. Yes, people were talking about startups and all, but we took a slightly different path, not the traditional startup kind of path. We getting funding and equity based funding, but we went for debt based funding. That is where we went into loans and other things, because equity based funding we didn't go, because people did not have confidence in us that we can, even though we come with many years of experience. These days youngsters want to, the startup guys want to retire when they are 30 or 40, and I started this big startup when I was 50. So what I'm saying is, there is as you said, there is a difference. So coming to your question, I see, because I am closely interacting with quite a few startups. From that, I believe that there are changes and there is ease of doing business happening. Even in our case, let us say we had many issues in running the company, but the issues of dealing with the governments and other agencies was much lesser, and the issues was getting money from customers. That was the biggest problem. And as we came up, even from the government, the compliance, if there are let us say 25 different compliance activities we have to have during 2006 time frame, and as we reached 2015 16, I think it came down quite a bit. So what I feel is, definitely there is a change from the mindset, change in the mindset of government and the other agencies, and because want to give push to startups, and now this Make in India push and all is happening, I am sure definitely things are going to improve better. So the people, so primarily what is needed is what I believe, that people come with such kind of interest to build startup. There has to be some agency who will be providing them services in those government dealing aspects of compliances, etc., so that the team can focus on their work and getting their either the services or the product ready. Otherwise, if the founders start getting bogged down into all these compliances and the running around for those administration aspects, so there has to be some, I think many of these incubation facilities provide that. I think that would be a good thing, so that they don't have to worry too much about these aspects.
Okay. Maybe when somebody starts a business, starts a startup, in the initial period, they may not be in a position to that outsource such jobs to a.
No, I am not saying outsource. You go to such, there are every state, there are many such incubation, because government run incubation facilities are there. In tech parks, there are many such. For example, IITs have got big incubation facilities where you present your idea. If the idea they like and they find that it's a viable idea, I think you can get in. So all other aspects, the non-core aspects, they will take care of. I don't think it is difficult. It is growing now.
Okay.
So I
in
think we have.
In a nutshell, what do you mean to say is that the present situation is much better than the earlier.
Absolutely, no doubt about that.
Okay, I think that is encouraging.
Okay, I think next to us, thank you, Mr. Nisa. Actually, there are so many questions, so I'm trying to get some more.
Sure. Carry on. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Sandosh Nair, who was asked the question, I can't now find him. He has raised his hand. No. No, okay. I will skip that. Mr. Ram Kumar, can you please ask your question?
I'll just want to.
Hello.
Yeah, Rajeev, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear Ram Kumar.
Yes, Rajeev, it's a wonderful presentation. And the passion is the biggest startup for any human being at any point of time. Passion and human values at its best. And practicing passion and keeping the company afloat by the delayed payments from the clients is a challenge. How this challenge you could manage, because you have to keep the company afloat and in a proper way, maintaining HR values, maintaining the passion, maintaining the comfort. When you don't get the payment, with a huge delay, which is happening in Indian context, with what determination you could manage.
Thanks. Thank you, Ram Kumar.
Hello. Right.
Okay. We will take, there are so many questions. We have run out of time, really speaking, a lot of this thing, but maybe a couple of things more. You have time, then Mr. Bhishma Ramakrishna. I'm not finding him on the list now. Okay, I will skip them. Anil Baby is not seen there. Sharat Chandra Das, Abdul Jalil CA. Yeah. Abdul, can you hear us?
Hi. Good evening, sir. It was very wonderful session.
Good evening. Yes, thank you.
In fact, we own also a digital marketing agency called Green Lemon.
Yeah.
In fact, we started at 2000 after completing our college. Earlier, it was only a web and web-enabled applications, but in 2008, we recruited some guys from IIMK and IIM Calicut, and they introduced SEO and SEM into this company, and we were doing pretty good. Now, but I am working as a mechanical engineer in a government firm in Abu Dhabi, but my involvement was very limited. There were people, but last year onwards, I'm involving a little bit extensively. I mean, almost a daily basis. So you just mentioned about your brand buzzer for your digital branding. So can you just a little bit more elaborate, or can we use it?
I will tell you what it is. It is primarily what happens is nowadays I think a lot of consumers talk about brands and they write about brands. Let it be Facebook, let it be Twitter, or their own blogs or news or responses. When someone writes a blog, some news item, and there is a lot of information coming in the digital universe about a product or a service or a brand. Okay. So it is required to collect them and analyze them. For example, analyze them. Finally, one basic analysis is we analyze the sentiments. Whether if I read something someone has written about a brand in English, or it could be in any language, English, Malayalam, or even Hinglish, that is English written with Hindi written with English script. So all these things happen. So the tools that we have in Brand Buzz Index, what happens is our crawlers go and let us say for specific brand, we identify what keywords identify a brand. And based on that, we collect all information from the whole digital universe, whatever is available publicly, and then start analyzing it for sentiments. And from the sentiments, we extract perceptions. And then we start analyzing what is happening for the brand and how the brand is buzzing. For that, we defined, it was about 20 to 22 parameters we identified, and on those 22 parameters aggregated into 4 dimensions. They were the 4 basic dimensions, that is popularity, virality, conversation, and engagement. What people are, how popular is a brand in digital universe based on the mentions, virality, how viral, how this it is spreading, and third is conversation, what are people talking more and more about the brand, and engagement, are people engaging with the brand content. So this is what, and that we again, what we do is we aggregate it and get a number. So idea is to collect information, analyzing using, actually it is using machine learning only. We need to analyze it because it's all natural language and different kinds of languages. We wrote a language agnostic learning engine to, you know, to to extract sentiments out of that, positive, negative. First level is neutral, positive, negative, and then we assigned a degree. Positive itself can be 1 to up to 10, negative can be -1 to -10, and so on. So finally, digging information about how consumers look at a brand and how the buzz is happening in digital universe. That is what was it is.
Okay, so it is available to, I mean, you will be...
It is used as an internal tool. We tried to market, we thought of marketing it, but finally, you see, we are a services company. The DNA of a services company and a product company are different. We didn't think of marketing it. We used it to win clients. That's what we did.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Anil P. Baby is still missing. Shaji Sakriya. Actually, there are two people have asked similar question. I will put the first one on.
Yeah.
Mr. Shaji Sakriya, can you please?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Actually, I'm Shaji Zakria's son. My name is Joel. My father studied in CET about 2 decades ago. So I'm really honored to be in this session. You know, it's great to see CET as a great alumni network. About myself, I'm from Model Engineering College. I'll be graduating this year. My question is, I saw your portfolio. It's very stellar and you have a lot of experience. I was more interested in your technical background, as in what kind of work have you done in AI and this field, especially your time in IIT Madras and the universities.
I was working in AI in IIT Madras because I was associated with civil and structural engineering primarily. So, and there, of course, we don't have any constraints that what we can work. So we worked on, my work was primarily into two. One is reasoning, different work on. The idea is bring the developments in AI and other computer science to engineering was my mandate. So I was working in the basic, for example, this genetic algorithms, AI, and other developments in computer science, understand that and bring it to engineering was my mandate. So I was working on that. So we had to do basic work in those disciplines and then start applying for problem solving in engineering. Especially my interest was civil and structural engineering. So that is but what happens is there are complex enough problems. So when you go to business, the complexity is more, and understanding the business. So primarily what happened, for example, in this whatever work I did, for example, you are a student now, final year student. So one of the basic concept of in AI, which was I told in the talk that introduced by Minsky in 1970s, called frames, where stereotypical situation can be represented and easier to process. I haven't seen in any product such things are being used, and which is a very, very powerful concept. So that is what we tried, and our efforts in solving problem became much more easier. So I'm just thinking there are many such things in AI we need to bring out and see, not just the machine learning and deep learning. So that's what I'm saying. So what I did was I did quite a bit, and then my other, for example, in one of the industry product, I worked on Bayesian network based machine learning I did, which is standard. not ANN, but Bayesian. So did all that work. It helped me in, conceptualizing and designing components and architectures that work well. And here I have a freedom to do the way I want. That was the positive. Whereas when I was working for someone, that was not happening, even if I was a CTO.
Okay, thank you. We'll take you 2 more questions or 2 or 3 questions if we have time. If the question can be very short. Actually, I'm finding Mr. Srinivasan Ravindran. Can you please ask your question?
Yeah. Hello, Rajeev sir. Srini here. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear.
Yeah, this is Srini from Trivandrum. I was your student at IITM also.
Oh, Srini. Yeah. Nice to hear from you, Srini.
Yeah. As a person who has actually seen the initial days of your AI work at IITM, I'm just curious about one thing. We have seen the transition from general computing platform to web to mobile and now IoT. How best is AI and ML getting integrated to IoT? And what are the business opportunities which you see in your type of activity?
See,
especially in your, even now, your music and other things as well.
Yeah. See,
music therapy, sorry.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, see, this IoT gives us a kind of mechanisms to connect with real life artifacts, right? We can connect to real life artifacts. And then what happens is AI and other technology actually helps us to solve problems, and how the problems manifest and how the solutions manifest can be in IoT or mobile apps or web. It can be anywhere, right? In my opinion, it doesn't, whether whatever be the way of manifestation, it doesn't matter. Your problem solving is important. For your problem solving, your regular procedural way of doing may not be enough. You need intelligent way of doing. That is where AI comes. The intelligence you need AI comes, then let it manifest through IoT or whatever other devices, doesn't matter. So I feel is the focus is on problem solving.
Okay, that's fine. I think there are more things to be discussed, but due to lack of time,
I know.
offline, sir.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Shanti Ravindran, can you please ask your question?
Hi, sir. Thanks for the great presentation. I just wanted to ask you, this concept can be your engine and the concepts behind the engine, reasoning, framing, and all that can be applied across industries as well, right? So,
absolutely.
So the models themselves may be open sourced and used across industries, right?
See, what I have presented is the concept, and open. See, these are all available. Open source, what I mean is, I am not saying that there's nothing is new, what I'm presenting. Whatever is there, I have architected in this particular way because I wanted how the brain work. I want to mimic that in the platform. That's what is done. Yeah, for example, these frames, I am still surprised. The frame concept was there from 1975. I haven't seen it used anywhere.
Yeah, actually, I work for a company called Motorola. We work in public safety. So we also talk about the frames a lot because when people are dealing with incidents, you change your frame of mind and then you can deal with the incident exactly in the way. But I've not seen any products come out yet because the reasoning problem seems to be quite big.
Absolutely. This frame is where, because in present day situation, what happens is we have to represent situation. When you get into databases, what happens is you transform the situation to data and then store it. So whereas here what happens is at the abstract level, you are thinking of situation. and your reasoning work on the situation instead of work on the data. I think that's the big difference.
Yeah. So how you represent the situation, how you pull enough insights to make the situation.
The representation of the stereotypical situation is what the concept of frame is.
Yeah.
So
but I haven't seen a lot of products or anything working on it.
Just look at, and this was just read what Marvin Minsky was. Marvin Minsky has proposed in 70s. I think that's what it is. It is a very simple concept, but very powerful concept.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. E.V. Ramachandran Nair, can you please ask your question?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, thank you for the very informative and very interesting session. Almost more than an hour. Usually, such sessions last not more than half an hour. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, my background is in a public sector undertaking. That is why my question.
Yeah.
I was fascinated the way your HR is functioning.
Yeah.
Our employees are free to be in or out.
Yes.
My question is about the effectiveness of your employees, whether it is 80-20 or 20-80.
What is that you said? Effectiveness, is it?
And that is how many people you can effectively utilize. Is it 20-80 or the other way around, 80-20?
I think we are able to utilize more, much more. So to 80-20, when you say 80 is the utilization and much at times more than that. That is where I told you, we have a filler and filler concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means almost more than 90% you will be getting effective.
Absolutely. Because what we are doing is through our mentoring process, we are ensuring that they have the passion to work on the projects what we do, or the technologies what we do, or whatever kind of work we do. If there is no passion, then people are coming for the sake of working. Then the 80-20 becomes 20-80. That is what the issue. So we want to stem it at that level. I think you ignite their passion, and if our kind of work doesn't excite them, then no point in working. That's what our philosophy was.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. The last of the questions published, Jay Govin, can you ask the question, please? Jay Govin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead, Jay. Jay Govin, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. Are you able to hear?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Thank you for sharing your wonderful journey and experience to all of us. So my question is with regard to application of AI in real businesses like you have done. So how easy is it or what is the effort required for a small or medium-sized business to apply, use AI, like effort in the sense like the time required, the infrastructure required, or the cost involved? Because we all know the basics of AI, but really like it's still something more like rocket science for us. So how easy or how much effort is required to use this in a small or medium business setup is what I wanted to know.
I think first of all, change the mindset from it is a rocket science and it is anyone can master it. I think then what happens is once we understand it is not that big. It is, you need to understand just like any other subject you are studying, and understand that and then applying that is, I don't think there is, for example, you want to solve ultimately it is all for problem solving. You have a problem, you want to solve the problem in a right way, and when you are trying to solve the problem in a right way, you feel that there are some aspect of that problem solving requires an intelligent way of handling things, which cannot be in a very the traditional procedural way of handling things. There what happens is there, and AI has got many different aspects it has, and we have to also understand which aspect of AI or which algorithm or which method that has been part of AI you have to use. So those, unless you understand the AI as a whole at top level, and at least what are those, for example, what is reasoning, how many different reasoning is there, and writing a reasoning engine maybe just 2 or 3 days work for a good programmer or a developer, but what it is, getting into details and designing that code and getting is, that is what is important. So understand those areas and use which aspect of AI you have to use, learn that and transform that. I think that is what is important. And there is a, as you rightly said, there is saying that, oh, AI is, it's a rocket science, it is only for few elite people or programmers or architects or designers. I think that kind of mindset is there. It is just like procedures for finally computers is, I believe, garbage in and garbage out. So what you write, the way you write, the algorithms you write, so you use this AI so and write the algorithm, and if in a problem solving you require those AI mechanisms, you use it, and it should not be used for the sake of using AI. If someone want to enhance CV saying that, okay, I have used AI for the, even if AI is not needed, people start using it and just for enhancing CV. That should not be the case. That's what I'm saying. It is absolutely easy. It is not difficult, provided you understand from the basics and understand and get into problem solving level rather than programming level. I think that is what it is.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, that comes to the end of our questions. There have been quite a few questions which I have said we will answer later. So I will pass those questions for you to answer them, and then we will mail it to the respective persons who have asked the questions. And
sure.
Yeah, I mean, our Srijit was raising some questions, but I think he's now also not there. So maybe we will close the session with, yeah, you have something else to say? Or,
no, nothing.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everyone.